Nickelodeon has been a network with a variety of content. This repertoire has consisted of comedies, animation, action, mystery, and the one that I want to mention, game shows. Nickelodeon has made game shows since 1986, starting with Double Dare. This became a massive hit for the network, perhaps even being the first show that brought the network to fame at all. Following the success, not only was Double Dare being ordered for additional seasons, but more game shows were being included. Finders Keepers, Think Fast, Get the Picture, Make the Grade, Nickelodeon Arcade, and Legends of the Hidden Temple. Scheduling these shows on their main channel became tough with all the traditional content that Nick also had. They knew how popular the game shows were, but wanted more content on the primary station. As a result, instead of stopping reruns on the main channel and then never airing them again, Nickelodeon made an additional network specifically for these game shows, that being Nick Games and Sports in 1999. For the next many years, these great game shows will be aired on the channel to a new generation of young children. New game shows will be included as well, including Double Dare 2000 and Game Farm. However, all fun must come to an end, as by the time that Nick Gas was closed in 2007, it had no new content to be aired, simply reruns of the old stuff. This had unfortunately been the case for the past 3 years, being old shows to fill the entirety of the channel's airtime. It seemed like game shows on Nickelodeon were all over. Hope was seemingly lost, but there would be one new show to change all this, one very unique game show, one that was engaging, creative, authentic, and fun. The show that I'm referring to is not My Family Got Guts. It's nothing to do with the revivals like Double 2000. The Guts revival did poorly, but the next game show that I'm referring to exceptional to that. It was the next big thing, in fact. I'm talking about 2009's Brainsurge. Brainsurge was the game show that tested your memory. It had visual puzzles, funny stories, quirky questions, and great prizes. And it wouldn't be a Nickelodeon show without slime. This game show was very well received by fans and critics, such that it ended up with a total of 120 episodes across 3 seasons. The first season of Brainsurge was filmed through February to the end of March 2009, and things were hoping to look good. The show would officially premiere on September 28th to very high reception from kids and adults due to its unique concept. To remind you of the gameplay, 6 players compete in the first level, which involves visual puzzles with counting or audio or memory, and they must answer without being wrong or tardy. The points range from 10, gradually going to 100, and at the end, the 2 players with the lowest scores, or at least slowest times, have a trip down the brain drain, the giant foam slide. But of course, they win a prize or 2. The 4 remaining players are told the story by Jeff in round 2, whether it be questions or a list story. They must answer correctly by sitting down, and if they're wrong or take too much time to do so, then they sit down and get pulled back through the giant mouth. When 2 players are left, the knockout round ensues. They must memorize 8 matching images and then say the correct numbers to match them. The next person to say the right match after the previous person fails to do so also gets pulled back in their chair and joins the prior 2 eliminees to the brain drain with their own prize. The final round of the show, my favorite by the way, consists of 3 grids of squares worth a prize that the final player must step on. After creating the correct pattern of squares, they must stop the timer by stomping an orange button on the very end. After completing the final grid, the player, and Jeff sometimes, get slimed along with receiving their prizes and their trip. If they cannot do it in the 90 seconds given, then they also have to go down the brain drain with whatever prizes they did win. Season 1 proved to be successful, with the most viewed episode being the celebrity episode where Matt Shively sets the record for level 3. The season wrapped up its broadcasts on April 9, 2010, but earlier, on February 18th, a second season was announced. This season would include most of the same material, except with some special episodes: Boys vs. Girls, Family Week, co-hosts, and Nick stars. Taping started the following month and ended early April. It's worth noting that the second season was filmed in a very weird order when compared to broadcasts. In chronological order, for example, there was a Nick Stars episode, 2 Boys vs. Girls episodes, a Twins episode, a normal episode, and then 2 co-host episodes. I guess they wanted to show the audience that it would be a more diverse season. Speaking of changes, visual differences in this season include, but not limited to, the audience now being visible, better animation and puzzles, more light effects involved, and a pit at the bottom of the brain drain. Broadcast started on June 21st, 2010 with the Boys and Girls episodes, and after October 15th, it had a 6-month hiatus before finally returning with all the special episodes left, ending on May 13th, 2011. With ratings somewhat dwindling, Jeff suspected that this would be the end of Brainsurge. After all, 2 to 3 seasons was the standard. However, they decided to greenlight one more season for the show, Family Brainsurge. They would begin filming in February through mid-March 2011 during the broadcast hiatus of Season 2. In this season, 5 teams of 2, 4 including the Brain Trust, would compete. Level 1 would be the same aside from only one team being eliminated. In Level 2, should a team struggle with an answer, they call their Brain Trust to help them. In Level 3, they can also help the 2 main players across the floors in hopes of victory. Some more visual changes, different color schemes for levels and material, many more lights, and a lot more mess. Most astoundingly, no interviews and shorter stories are given, as the time limit on episodes went from 23 minutes to 20.5. Broadcast would begin on July 18th and end on November 17th, 2011, with a quarter of the episodes quietly seeing the light of day on Nicktoons from April 28th to May 9th, 2014. With the final season of Brainsurge wrapping up in March 2011, Jeff pursued other projects, including another game show called 101 Ways to Leave a Game Show. This occurred only days after the final day of shooting Brainsurge, and Jeff was ready for more action. Ratings would come, however, and they weren't very strong, as 101 Ways would last only 6 episodes. However, Jeff's reign of game shows was not through. In March 2012, Nickelodeon announced a revival of an old game show of theirs from '97 called Figure It Out, and Jeff jumped at the chance to take it. While Brainsurge had rare reruns up until this point, its popularity was upped a bit thanks to the new game show. Figure It Out ran for 2 seasons totaling 70 episodes before being officially canceled in October 2013, 13 months after the end of its production. Strangely, throughout its run, all of the series has been posted to iTunes when Brainsurge had never gotten any sort of release, leading to the show to fade from everyone's memory. No pun intended. Amidst everything, Brainsurge was seeming to fall into obscurity. With the decline of cable and rise of streaming and the internet, nobody seemed to care about the show anymore, let alone any other late-stage Nickelodeon material. Brainsurge's last reruns aired on Nicktoons through summer 2014, and there has since been no showing of the game show. That is, until episodes would periodically appear onto YouTube for new and old fans to watch and enjoy. People were able to experience an iconic piece of media and could see it at their own convenience instead of waiting for reruns. Additionally, former players from the show would comment about their episodes through social media, detailing the fun time that they had while being on it. Yes, very luckily, Brainsurge was gradually becoming popular again, and people were seeing its value. One could say that it is a show with a cult following. Nevertheless, this show was a hit for Nickelodeon and remains one of the most creative things to come from the station. There have been other game shows since then, but nothing has ever quite captured the authenticity of Brainsurge. I have enjoyed it for many years, and I know other people feel the same way. This game show is one of a kind, and it deserves its praise.